just as you can get information about a site by looking through pages on that site, sometimes you need to find out information about the site as a whole. There are many techniques for doing this, but I want to talk about one in particular called Whois. Whois is really a kind of large database. It's a database of information about websites. It's held by the people who run the networks, and what it allows you to do is get information as you see on this diagram here. You can run Whois by doing a search for Whois, and there are multiple providers out there. They all have the same information. You can choose whichever one you like. And when you do a search for a company like, say, Zagat.com, you'll discover lots of relevant information. Here, for example, in this listing, you can see who actually is running the domain name server for that. You can figure out often who is actually the site administrator, what their contact information is, and any other associated or affiliated sites that are also run by that same provider. What we're doing here is using a common tool that's available to you on the web as a way of digging more deeply into the background of a site. This is really useful when you're trying to get into more sophisticated searches where it's important to you to understand who's owned by whom and who's doing what kind of work for what kind of purpose. If we do a search for Whois, what you'll see here is a whole bunch of different providers, different companies that basically repackage the Whois database and give you slightly different perspectives on the data that's there. It's useful for you to know and to go through this list and sort of see what's possible. That way you can see very quickly the information that's in Whois and get that information to understand who it is you're trying to actually deal with. Another way is using a search with a term, for example, contact. So Zagat.com and then add the term contact, which would give you information about whether or not it's a business and where it's based, how to get a hold of it, and getting information like that really helps you to understand the business as a whole. There are a ton of tools out there. Whois is one. Using regular Google search and using operators and filters like the site restriction operator, or using additional terms like contact information or other words you can imagine seeing on the boilerplate, will allow you to find information about that site. Don't forget to look at also review sites, which will comment often on service providers and businesses that run markets or sales of some kind. There will often be reviews in accumulated sites that you can find easily.